3 years. It's been 3 long years since Chon released their fantastic self-titled album. But we're all wondering what's going on with Chon? And with those years since they've released that album, we as fans have been met with silence, disappearance from social media, and questions like, is Chon a jazz? Is Chon a damn jazz? And rumors about the band's record label Sumerian doing them dirtier than the dirtiest doing that ever done did. Welcome to the Vinyl Files, everybody. I'm James Lundquist, and today we're taking a look into the mystery of where is Chon. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and comment down below, what's your main in Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart? Mine is Black Yoshi. While you're there, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the Vinyl Files, join the Vinyl Cult. We're always looking for new members. Ah yes, Chon, or as I call them in my household, Chonathan, or Chonathan if you're the substitute teacher from that Key and Peele sketch.
I've got my eye on you, Jake Quellen.
The beautiful, good vibe inspiring, Note-Smith homies from Oceanside, California. As described to me by a good friend as the best Gran Turismo music ever made. Remember that game? As well as being a great band, Chon has some of the strongest merch in the game. I know if they didn't do music and they just decided, hey, we're gonna start a clothing label, they would take the world by storm. It would be unbelievably successful. Their merch is so cool. If you don't know Chon, I'm gonna do my best to keep this brief, but this is a brief synopsis of their career to this point. Chon made up most recently of Mario, Nathan and Ezia Camarena, and Eric Hansel. Eric and the Brothers 3 make up some of the grooviest, shreddiest, jazziest, tastiest instrumental music that the world has ever seen. I remember when I first heard this band, Grow had just come out, and it was such a refreshing take on such a shred-dominated genre. They brought some much-needed melody and chillaxness and just good vibes. As a guitar player, I was also really impressed by their lack of effects pedals. You know, a lot of guitar players in this genre tend to lean really heavily on effects and post-processing and stuff like that, but Chon lets their musicianship shine through their slightly driven Vox AC30s. Though Grow wasn't their first recorded work, it was their debut full-length album, and it was their debut on Sumerian Records. Their first 2 EPs were Newborn Sun and Woohoo. While I think these are a little less polished than their later works, they stand as like a great idea of what's to come from Chon. Newborn Sun is actually a lot more metal-y sounding, which is weird coming from them, and I'm actually glad that they smoothed out those edges. Don't get me wrong, I love metal, but I'm just not used to it from these guys. Woohoo is a lot closer to Grow, and you'll actually notice that a few of the tracks on Woohoo were re-recorded for Grow. It's also their collected work that I have listened to the least, and I have to say I have been missing out. After these 2 EPs, we have Grow. Grow serves as a fantastic look into their potential as musicians. And so rarely can you actually listen to a record and just feel the fun that they had playing and recording this music as it's being ripped out of the grooves on a turntable. Then came Homie. I really liked this album because while it is a departure from Grow, it still keeps the best parts of Chon. This record features other talented artists like Go Yama on the track Berry Streets, Mass Ego and Lo-File on the trip-hop track Nehu, Feel This Way with Giraffage, and Glitch with Rom. And they use a lot more effects and processing on this album, but with songs like Waterslide and Sleepy Tea, you really get that good classic Chonathan feeling. I have this record ordered, and if you're looking for this on wax, I'll put a link in the description below so that you can get it, because I believe it's still available. Also, considering the fact that this is a 5-year anniversary release, means that there's still interest and hope. Come back to us, boys! Then we get to Chon's 3rd album, Chon. A fantastic mix of the first 2 albums. You'll notice a very obvious lack of vocals on this album, which was intentional, and especially if you read like the inner sleeves and whatnot, they just wanted to bring it back to the instrumentals. But they do incorporate more effects in post-processing that they implemented on Homie. It's also a very specifically Chon-centric record. You'll notice a lack of the slew of artists that they had guest starring on the last album. It's just them, aside from studio musicians. Again, this record is still available, and I will add a link to the description below so that you can pick it up. Now, because this record did come out in 2019, I have to think that they didn't really have a lot of time to go out and tour and promote in support of this album. due to the whole world shutting down thing. You know, remember that? Now, getting into some theories, I put my detective hat on. Going back a little ways onto their Facebook and their Instagram page, there are posters on there from a European tour that looked like a blast, an Australian tour, and a Japanese tour. Then a post explaining that the European tour had to be canceled due to safety concerns. Then on their Facebook and Instagram profile, their last mention of doing any kind of a live show was on March 14th of 2022 with the live stream concert of Live from the Damn Living Room. And then on Facebook, a couple of posts about a Grow 5th anniversary and record store day release, and then nothing. Silence! Now, after much research, I think I've uncovered the truth, but be warned, it's not sexy. There's no scandal. There's no one to really be mad at. There has been talk about their record deal with Sumerian. And while there might be and probably is some truth about Chon not getting paid from touring and from merch sales, it's all speculation. It's all hearsay. Like, I can't verify any of that. They signed their record deal when they were really young. And this happens to a lot of young bands who sign a deal that they don't either understand, they don't know well, or it heavily favors the record label. And these bands grind and push out fantastic works and hope to gain some favor with the label, maybe renegotiate, or just gain some more traction and then leave with some killer material and go on to conquer the world. But unfortunately, record labels are a business and it doesn't always work in favor of the artist. I'm not saying it's their fault, but it's the nature of the business, unfortunately. So there may be something to do with that, but again, it's all speculation and I can't confirm any. If you know something, if you have some sources, please comment them down below. I would love to know. I would love to direct my anger into the proper channel if anger needs to be had. And then there was a glimmer of hope. Over at Eric Hansel's Instagram at PlopDoggy, you see a video of him breaking his silence and playing some beautifully atmospheric, Chon-y sounding riffs. Of course I say Chon because it's Eric Hansel. I know he's his own person, but that's what I know him from, so it led me to believe, yay, Chon! But, indeed, like the sweetness in the summer air or the red in the autumn leaves, it seems as though Chon must too come to an end. After more digging in Reddit and podcasts, I stumbled onto Chon's Discord, and there sat a few pinned messages from Mario Camarena and Eric Hansel. Just to make it clear, we haven't had a conversation about officially ending Chon for good, but right now, I guess you could call it a hiatus. I've been doing Chon for just about half my life at this point, and I personally wanted to not think about Chon or anything to do with it for a while. I've been needing that for the good of my mental, physical well-being. Absolute Madman 2 reads, "Damn bro, good to hear from them, but a little scary sounding." Mario replies, "I get it being not so good news from a fan of the music perspective, but it's been a great move for all of the actual band." Eric says, "Yeah, there's been no official talk of an ending of the band. I've been feeling like a hiatus has been a much needed thing for me and for the band for a while now. I wouldn't want to release stuff I wasn't all in for anyways. When we made the demo in 2008, we knew this shit was crazy, but we didn't know it would get the amount of support it does. So, thanks for all the love, and I hope you guys understand it." There you go. This doesn't necessarily mean that the band is broken up, but it does mean that we as fans should not be expecting anything anytime soon. You know, I understand from a fan's perspective, as an obvious fan, how you could look at their disappearance and be upset by it. You're left wondering what happened, and there's no communication, and this band that you love just goes away. But it's easy to think of a band as just a band and not the individual members itself. And from what was said on the Discord, they all needed to take a break for their physical and mental well-being. They need to take care of their mental health. And I think that's the best thing that they could have done because Lord knows they've been busy. They've put out some great work. They've toured relentlessly. They've probably seen some stuff while they've been out on the road. They've probably ran across some people who haven't been very good to them. And taking care of your mental health is important for everybody, not just these guys. You watching. Check in with yourself. How you doing? Not to mention them being happy and healthy means there's a greater chance that they might come back and make more music someday, you know? It's a possibility, you know, or not. Probably, please. But with that, if they ever do decide to make more music, I will pre-order it the second that becomes available. I will be waiting. In the meantime, there are 2 Chon EPs, 3 full-length albums, as well as appearances on like Polyphia's New Levels, New Devils. They've been very busy. In the meantime, there are plenty of artists and bands that are putting out great music in this genre. Check out Pliny, Elephant Jim, Covet, Jacob Zaiteki, Ichi Kanito. Like, all of these people are putting out great stuff constantly. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I have new videos coming out every single Monday with the LP Weekly. Never miss when your favorite records get repressed, re-released, and for new releases. And every Friday with music news, record reviews. Anything that's going on in the music world, I'm talking about it. So go ahead and click subscribe and join the vinyl cult. Leave a like on the video. And remember, until the table stops spinning, just keep grinning.